The Chicago Bears are back at home this Sunday at Soldier Field taking on the LA Rams. Can the Bears finally get back on the winning track? Watch this video to hear my thoughts. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. And right now, the Bears fan base is very, very restless after a 2-game losing streak in which our offense has still struggled big time throughout the entire season. Everything is not going the way we expected it to go entering the season with all the hype that we had. So understandably, Bears fans are pretty upset, and I think this is going to be a game that if the Bears don't win, things really have the potential to fall apart completely on the season, okay? And obviously I know this was not a season that the Bears, any Bears fan expected to make the Super Bowl or like compete for a championship. But a lot of Bears fans were hoping for the chance to make it in as the number 7 seed, just barely sneak into the playoffs. And the Bears should have a chance to do that if they can win games like this. But if you lose this one, to fall to 1-3 on the season, it's going to be very difficult to make it into the playoffs this year with how tough our schedule is in the second half of the season, okay? We have all of our divisional games in the second half of the season, and our entire division is so dang difficult, okay? The Vikings are 3-0, the Packers are 2-1 with the backup quarterback, the Lions are also 2-1, so we gotta win games like this that should be winnable games for the Bears, okay? With how many injuries the Rams have on both sides of the football, the Bears are favored in this game by I believe 2.5 points. So Vegas does believe the Bears have the slight edge, especially being at home. The Bears have won 6 straight games now at home, dating back to last year. So the Bears definitely are a better football team at home, as they should be, but we have to protect home field advantage and win this game, okay? There are no more moral victories this season. I don't care how many passing yards Caleb has if we can't win this game. We gotta find a way to win this damn football game. But talking about the Rams, guys, I'll be breaking down both sides of the football for them and also the Bears, obviously, after them. But talking about the Rams offense, first of all, guys, they rank number 20 in points scored per game, number 19 in yards gained per game, number 9 passing attack, and number 29 rushing attack. And as I mentioned, guys, the Rams are extremely injured entering this game. I have no idea how they beat the 49ers in the last week. That was just a Sean McVay coaching masterclass because he is a top 5 coach in the NFL. But the pieces the Rams have on offense that were really good, most of them are gone, okay? Cooper Kupp will not be playing in this game. Puka Nacua will not be playing in this game. Guys on the offensive line like Steve Avila, Jonah Jackson will not be playing. They are on injured reserve currently. So the Rams have a bunch of backups playing at key positions on this offense. They have, Tutu Atwell and Demarcus Robinson as the leading receivers on this team behind Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp is not going to be playing. And Tutu Atwell and Demarcus Robinson are decent complementary pieces that can be schemed open, especially with a play caller like Sean McVay, but they are not the superstars that Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are, obviously, okay? Tutu Atwell has 141 yards on the season. Demarcus Robinson has 124 yards. So these are guys that can be productive, stretch the field, make a big-time catch. So they're not scrubs by any means, but they're not top-level players either in the NFL. So the Bears cornerbacks matched up against these guys should hopefully have a pretty good day, okay? These are not guys that you should be letting overwhelm you with the talent the Bears have in the secondary. But what I am concerned about is how good of a quarterback Matt Stafford is and how good of a head coach and play caller Sean McVay is, okay? The combination between these two is very, very deadly, and as you guys saw in the last game the Rams played, they can find ways to score points even without having their top playmakers on this offense because Sean McVay is a coaching genius, okay? He knows what he is doing. I wish the Chicago Bears had a coach like Sean McVay because he knows how to design a game plan around the personnel he has available. He knows how to get guys open. He knows how to use different formations, different looks to confuse the defense, and even with inferior talent, he can find a way to move the ball down the field, especially with a quarterback as good as Matt Stafford. Us being Bears fans, we are used to seeing Matt Stafford in the past before he was with the Detroit Lions, obviously, and had some big-time production even with the Lions. But with Sean McVay, he's been, very, very good as well. Okay, he's a guy that can throw the ball at different arm angles. He has a cannon of an arm. He's a gunslinger type of guy. Caleb Williams actually said that he looks up to Matt Stafford as a guy he really admired growing up watching him. So Caleb is a big Matt Stafford fan, obviously, and I also admire what Matt Stafford has done in this league. He's a very exciting player to watch, but one thing about him is that he can throw some pretty bad picks at times. Sometimes he can be a little bit reckless with the football. He had a lot of pick sixes a couple years ago. I think that was during their Super Bowl run where he threw, a bunch of pick sixes. So he is a guy that, the Bears maybe could force into making some turnovers with how good our secondary has been into creating turnovers. But, he's a guy that can also beat you over the top with the fantastic arm talent that he has. And talking about the run game a little bit, so the run game has not been good, as you guys can see by the stats. They rank number 29 in total rushing offense, and Kieran Williams has been pretty inefficient, only averaging 3 yards per carry, but he does have 4 touchdowns on the year. So in the red zone near the goal line, he has been pretty effective, but in terms of just moving the ball down the field through the ground, the Rams have not been able to do that. Another really concerning part about this Rams offense is how bad their offensive line has been. Obviously, being down many key starters, you were not going to have a good offensive line, but they have been bottom of the barrel, even worse than the Bears' offensive line at times has been this year. Okay, they rank last in pass block win rate. Through 3 weeks of the season, all of their starters basically have terrible PFF grades aside from, 1 or 2. So there will be a lot of opportunity to get pressure on Matt Stafford. And Matt Stafford is a guy that can move a little bit in and out of the pocket, but he's also not like a Lamar Jackson or Anthony Richardson in terms of mobility, right? So, if you get him out and get him into the dirt, maybe you could limit him with how bad, this Rams O-line has been in pass protection. Switching over to talking about the Rams defense, they have been really bad in this regard. They rank number 31 in points allowed per game, number 32 in yards allowed per game, number 29 pass defense, number 30 run defense. And they're just struggling in all phases on this defense. They rank dead last in EPA per play allowed with 0.22 expected points added allowed per play, which is very damn bad. Okay, they cannot stop the run, they cannot stop the pass. They're just, it seems like discombobulated across every area of their defense. The D-line has not been good. The linebackers have been pretty poor. They traded away Ernest Jones, obviously, to the Titans, so that's been a key loss. Their secondary also has been very, very bad. Now, I don't want to go crazy with thinking the Bears could score a lot of points against them, though, because the Colts also had a pretty bad defense, and the Bears only scored 16 points against them. So, maybe the Rams defense could still get some stops against the Bears offense that has been pretty pathetic, but so far they have just not been a good defense at all. Okay, Jared Verse and Byron Young have been the best players on this defense so far, and Jared Verse is a rookie coming out of Florida State. He has 1 sack on the season. Byron Young has 2 sacks on the season, and they got Kobe Turner there on the D-line as well, but he's been a little bit underwhelming, I'd say, at least so far this year. So really lacking in terms of getting pass rush, getting pressure on the quarterback. The secondary has allowed a lot of big chunk explosive plays down the field the entire season as well. Okay, plays of 20, 30, 40 plus yards are going over the top of the Rams DBs for whatever reason. Okay, it seems like they're not ready for half of these plays going down the field. So overall, a pretty bad Rams defense. No Aaron Donald on it. Obviously, they do have Braden Fisk to kind of replace him, but Braden Fisk is a rookie who, still finding his footing in the NFL. And, this should be a Rams defense the Bears should be able to exploit, but we will see about that. Winning season is here, and if you guys want the best place to place wagers on NFL action, MyBookie is a place to do so. MyBookie is a sponsor of today's video, and they have a lot of fantastic promotions going on this season. They currently have a risk-free boost on Thursdays where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, congrats, you win some money. If it doesn't hit, you actually get a refund on your wager, which is a pretty fantastic promotion. They also have other things like their Super Survivor and Squares contest, which you can potentially win money on. Now, if you guys want to get in on the action, if you use my promo code DaWindyCity while signing up, there's a link down below to get started. Download the app. Use promo code DaWindyCity. You can actually double your first deposit up to $1,000. So a great way to get a start on your bankroll and potentially get some nice winnings in the future. And they also have something called MyBookie Plus, where the more you play, the more rewards you earn. So they have a loyalty program that takes care of you as well. So Download the app, guys. Link is down below to get started. Again, use promo code DaWindyCity for first deposit bonus up to $1,000, and bet on anything, anytime, anywhere, and make the season a winning season using my bookie. Talking about the Bears offense, they ranked number 22 in points scored per game, number 30 in yards gained per game, number 25 pass offense, number 31 rushing offense. And the big bright spot here about the Bears offense is that Caleb really started clicking in the second half of the last game. Okay, he ended the last game with 360 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but most of that production came in the second half. And yes, you could say it was garbage time, but the Bears were still within 1 score near the end and could have had a chance to get the ball back and win. So I wouldn't really call it garbage time per se, but obviously the defense was playing a little bit more conservatively. But all in all, I mean, Caleb really, connected on some deep balls. Finally, he was seeing things a lot better. He was getting the ball out pretty quick. He was hitting guys in the middle of the field on the sideline. I think the play calling is holding him back to some extent because we're asking him to do way too much on this offense for a rookie quarterback. But as a Bears fan, you have to be excited about the potential of Caleb Williams. It's only week 4, okay? He's not even a month into his NFL career so far, already break the all-time Chicago Bears rookie single game passing record. He could be breaking a lot more stats throughout the rest of the season with the fantastic playmakers he has going down the field. He finally connected with Rome Odunze multiple times in the last game, so that rookie connection was very fun to watch. Keenan Allen hopefully might be coming back in this game. I'm not totally sure. I'm recording this video on Tuesday, so no injury report just yet, but if I had to guess, I think Keenan will be playing, being optimistic. So if Keenan is back, that could also be another big time weapon inserted into this offense that's going to make it a lot easier to move the ball down the field and score touchdowns. Keenan Allen, a lot of people forget, is still one of the best receivers in the game. Okay, I know he had a pretty rocky first game against the Titans where he dropped a pass and Caleb and him, we're just like really close to connecting on a couple plays. But if they finally start connecting on those plays, this passing offense is going to be pretty damn deadly going down the field. The only problem is the run game is so bad. I'm not sure I've ever seen a Bears run game this pathetic, because usually the Bears have a pretty strong run game and a pretty bad passing attack. It seems like it's going to be the opposite this year. DeAndre Swift has 68 rushing yards on 37 carries. Let me repeat that. 68 rushing yards on 37 carries. That is so pathetic. Okay, that's less than, I believe, 1.5 yards per carry. Really, really bad. So Swift has been bad in terms of his vision, but also the blocking up front has not been good. Okay, I'm not going to act like all the fault is only on DeAndre Swift, because in terms of our run blocking, that has severely regressed this year. The play calling also in terms of what running plays we are utilizing has not been the best out of Shane Waldron. Roschon Johnson has been more productive, averaging about 3.8 yards per carry. That's still not great, but it's better than what DeAndre Swift has showed us. So I really will be interested to see if Roschon gets more carries in this game, if Khalil Herbert also gets a lot more involved, because he has been a very efficient running back for the Bears during his career so far. But Shane Waldron, for whatever reason, has not been using him at all. He's only stuck with DeAndre Swift. I mean, the Bears will be happy to think about maybe benching Swift if the results are not showing. And again, I know it's not only Swift's fault, but if it's not working, it's got to be somebody's fault. And Roschon is performing better so far for the Bears as the RB1. So really sucks we paid all that money to Swift when the run game has been so bad, but it is what it is. Okay, you have to make do with what you have, and the Bears cannot let a sunk cost in DeAndre Swift deter them from going with the hot hand at running back. Talking about the Bears defense then, they have definitely been the bright spot of this team. They ranked number 10 in points allowed per game, number 8 in yards allowed per game, number 7 pass defense, number 17 run defense. So the run defense definitely struggled a little bit in the last game. Jonathan Taylor went out for 100 plus rushing yards, but they also were gassed in the second half of the last game with how often they were on the football field, with the Bears offense punting so much and turning the ball over. So I don't blame them entirely for that. I think they are a better run defense than the numbers show right now. We ranked number 1 in run defense last year. We have most of the same pieces. Andrew Billings is a great run defender. Montez Sweat is a great run defender. We have guys like T.J. Edwards really stepping up as well against the run. So the Bears run defense will be fine. The pass defense has been lights out throughout the season. Last game, we allowed a couple big plays down the field. Jalen Johnson allowed one finally, but those things happen in the NFL. Obviously, you are going to get beat here and there, but what I really love about this Bears defense is that they keep on forcing turnovers. Okay, they have 6 on the season so far. They got 3 in the last game. They had 3 in the first game. So in terms of being able to consistently force turnovers, the Bears are the best in the NFL at doing that. Since the beginning of last year, they ranked number 1 in total interceptions, which is a pretty fantastic stat, especially with how bad our offense has been so far this year. You got to help the offense out with creating extra possessions, and so far the Bears have not really taken advantage of those extra possessions, sadly, but eventually it's going to come, okay? And when the Bears offense finally gets rolling, they're going to really complement how good this Bears defense has been. If you look at the sack production on this Bears defense, it's been split pretty evenly, which I do like because it shows you that a lot of different guys are performing really well. You got Darrell Taylor with 2 sacks. You got Javon Dexter with 2 sacks. You got Tremaine Edmonds with a sack. Montez Sweat with a sack. Jack Sanborn with the sack. So I love that all these guys are kind of sharing the production because you can't just double team one guy and solve this Bears pass rush. The Bears pass rush has been pretty damn good so far this year. Now let me get to my 3 keys to a Bears victory. How can the Chicago Bears win this game at home? And key number 1 is going to be to get out to an early lead. The Bears so far this entire year have not had a lead in the first half. The only lead that we had was in the 4th quarter of the Titans game. So it really changes how you can play on offense. If you're playing with the lead, it's a lot different. It's going to be easier to do certain things when you have that 7-0, 14-3, 21-10 lead, okay? It's going to make things a lot easier on Caleb Williams and also on the defense, okay? Our defense has been so damn good playing from behind. Imagine them playing with the lead, how much better, even more, they can be. They can really get after the quarterback even more when they don't have to play so much against the run and force these teams into passing situations. So that's key number 1. Key number 2 then is going to be to stick with the hot hand at running back. I do not care how much money you pay DeAndre Swift. If he again gets off to a bad start in this game, if he's only averaging 1.52 yards per carry, go with Roschon Johnson, go with Khalil Herbert. Okay, these guys have been more efficient for whatever reasons. Okay, I think Herbert has better vision than Swift does, and Roschon is a better power back than Swift is. So those things with the bad offensive line can really help you at least get those extra yards and turn those 2nd and 9s into 2nd and 7s, 2nd and 6s instead, and those couple yards can make a massive difference at the end of a football game. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to don't let inferior talent beat you on defense. The Rams do not have Cooper Kupp, they don't have Puka Nacua, they don't have these starters on the offensive line, and with how good the Bears defense has been, they have to be able to stand on business and have a great performance against this Rams offense. I don't care how good of a play caller Sean McVay is. He is a brilliant play caller. Matt Eberflus, if you do want to be the head coach of this football team for the foreseeable future, you cannot let Sean McVay beat you with these players. That would be a complete embarrassment to Matt Eberflus, having all of his guys fully healthy on defense and Sean McVay playing at a big disadvantage. If Sean McVay is still able to outcoach you, Matt Eberflus, you do not belong as a head coach in the NFL. So find a way to get it done. With that being said, it's time for my score prediction. Who do I have win this matchup? And guys, I have the Chicago Bears returning home to Soldier Field, beating the Rams by a score of 21-20. I'm not very confident in this prediction, I'll be honest, guys. I think it could go either way, and I obviously am not going to pick the Bears to win every single week. Okay, so far I picked the Bears to win 2 times, and they only have 1 win on the season. I was wrong last week, so I'm not going to pick the Bears to win every single week. I don't want to be biased like that, but if you look at how desperate I feel like the Bears are going to be in this game, combined with the fact that our defense is so damn solid, the Bears should be able to win this game, especially being at home. Okay, again, Sean McVay does scare me a good amount. Matt Stafford does scare me a good amount as well, which is why I think it's going to be a very tight game. But I do think Caleb could have a pretty good game against a Rams defense that has been pretty poor. If he can just limit the turnovers, not turn the ball over 3 times like he did in the last game, the Bears should find a way to win this game. I am hoping the ground game gets going a little bit here. You know, if it's with Roshan Johnson, with Khalil Herbert, with DeAndre Swift, I do not care who the running back is, but find a way to get 4, 5, 6 yards on the ground per carry. Okay, we have to find a way to run the football against another pretty poor run defense. We have to be better in the red zone as well. Looking at you, Shane Waldron, better play calling in the red zone. No speed options at the 1 yard line. Okay, none of that bullshit that you've been doing the last 3 weeks. Stick to what's basic and what works on this offense. I think our defense is going to be pretty good in this game, especially being at home against a very poor offensive line. You know, the Colts had a pretty good O-line in the last matchup, and the Bears still got a good amount of pressure on Anthony Richardson at times. So against a bottom of the barrel offensive line, what could our pass rush be doing against that O-line? I think it could be pretty fantastic, I hope. Okay, so my defensive MVP is going to be Montez Sweat. I think Montez Sweat gets 2 sacks in this game. A bunch of different Bears could be getting sack production, but I'll be going with my guy Montez Sweat. As for offense MVP, I'll be going with Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet finally got going a little bit in the last game, and the Bears should be targeting him a lot in this game with how bad the Rams have been in the middle of the field on defense, and he could be that safety blanket that Caleb needs on 3rd down to help keep the chains moving. Leave your comments down below, guys. What do you guys think is going to happen in this game? Do you guys think the Bears can win this game? Let me know your thoughts down below. I know a lot of the Bears fan base is very pessimistic right now, so I'm expecting a lot of people to think the Bears will lose this game, which I don't blame you guys entirely, but I'm holding on to a little bit of hope that with a fantastic defensive performance, with Caleb building off of what he did in the second half of the last game, the Bears can find a way to win this game. But if we lose this game somehow, you know, I'm going to be pretty pissed in my post-game reaction. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.